Okay, it was all going well for Huddersfield, beating QPR going into Tuesday night, and then Cardiff roll up. And Mark, we'll get on to what happened in a second. But I'm guessing when Norwich beat you 4-0 at home, you thought, well, that's not going to happen again. And here we are. But let's start with the positives. Let's go to the QPR game. Talk us through how you saw it.
Well, you'd think after having a good international break and having kind of two home games on the bounce leading up to a Leeds Yorkshire derby coming up, you think that's your perfect opportunity against Cardiff and against QPR. You'd be thinking definitely 4 points out of that. You're kind of thinking these aren't games what you must win at the moment, but the kind of games what you mustn't lose. Um, Went to QPR game, fantastic for 15 minutes, 2-0 up, and then you just defended. It's like you just defended, and every ball what came into the box, it's like we'd never seen what a defence were. We'd never. So QPR get back into the game. I mean, you're thinking, oh my god, it's just what's happening. Then before you know it, they hit the post. We have a great goal line clearance. I mean, you're thinking, Christ, from 2-0 up in 14 minutes and coasting game, you're lucky to come out with a win. You're unlucky not to draw, really, if you're a QPR fan. So, from a town perspective, everything doesn't seem to be going right at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange performance, wasn't it? In that QPR got better as you got worse, but you saw the game out, and that was fine, and you can move on. You can accept, sort of a bad performance as long as you get 3 points from it. But then the way that Darren Moore set you up against Cardiff on Tuesday, what did you think first of all to the changes that were made, and what did you think to tactically how you were set up?
From where I sit at the stadium, you can see like how it works out, and it was just glaringly obvious to anybody who was sat kind of in the height where I was sat that the wing backs were far too high, and Cardiff read into that really, really quickly. Just like, well, that ball's not getting to him. You just sit in front of him, and you play with a back three, and you're meant to play with wing backs. But Nakayama had just come back from international break for Japan, so it's fair trip around the world. He's come back. It's his first proper start because he only came on as a sub against QPR. And then you're playing with Jadine Hemley, who's kind of a kid who's come through the ranks. And potentially it's the game where you're playing him against Cardiff. You're coming through against a team like yourselves. But the tactics are just not there. And they're just playing far too high. And Cardiff just sat in. And then before you know it, to be honest, I was looking somewhere else when we scored goal, first one, because I was too busy telling some kid to sit down, like you're going to miss game. I mean, you're like 1-0 down, like what's even happened? Then before you know it, similar thing to against QPR. Ball comes into the box from a corner, you turn it down, like who's? It's like we just don't know what defending is. It's quite alarming, really, at the moment to think that we've gone from the warm-up football to this football with the same players, and it's just not right. It's just not working.
Yeah, I mean, the first two goals for me, and dare I say the Warnock word, but it wouldn't have happened, I would have imagined, under him. There just doesn't seem to be defensive closeness. I mean, the back heel for the first goal, okay, yes, it ricochets and ends in the back of the net, but where's the defenders aren't close enough? And then for the second one, no one tracking runners. There doesn't seem to be awareness of what's going on the pitch, and that seems very, very unlike Huddersfield from obviously the Warnock days. It can't just be a change of coach. There's something more going on here.
It, what can it be? You're asking players. All any football fan wants is their players to do the best they can on the pitch. If you turn up against Leeds on Saturday and you play it best you can, you get walloped 6-0. It is what it is. But when you're like, this is simple tracking back. This is stuff I tell my 12-year-old son to do. It's like, follow your runner, do whatever it is, what you're meant to be doing. But you just sat there going, where's the tactics? And sometimes Darren Moore's tactics have been, you've got 3 centre-backs who are right-footed, 5 midfielders who are left-footed, and 2 strikers who are right-footed. It might not seem much, but the balance to the team's just completely off, because if if you're trying to play a right footer down right wing who's left footed, ultimately want to cut inside. So if you're a defender of the other team, you're just like, well, he's going to cut in. So you just mark the zone. You don't mark the player. You just mark the area, and that's kind of it. And he's playing players out of position who wouldn't normally play in those positions. And I know we've got a threadbare squad and things like that. You don't want to pick up injuries, but there's times and there's games where you play those kind of games, and it's just not worked against QPR and against Cardiff. You would be expecting at least 4 to 6 points because those are the games you want to win at home.
Yeah.
And to get turned over by Cardiff, who scored a free kick from about 35 yards. I left after that. I was just like, it's 4-0 down. My son's ready for school in the morning. I'll be on by 9:30. And it was ridiculous. You're just like, whoa.
Yeah, who could blame you?
From where I was at, tactically wise, when you can set players, you've got to manage the pitch. You've got to manage the players who you're playing against on the pitch. But the manager, you were 3-0 down at half time, then he makes 4 substitutes. Like, you could tell at 2-0 down, it's not working. So maybe change one or two of those players. But to then make 4 substitutes, yeah, fair enough. Second half started a bit better, but I gave it 15 minutes and we conceded after 10. I'm like, right, kids, we're off home. And that's it. Tactically wise, before Darren Moore came to town, all Sheffield Wednesday fans were saying he's tactically inept. Good guy, good manager. Does he have that tactical awareness? And yeah, fair enough, you can say you need to play players out of position because of injuries and whatever else, suspension, but you still have a bit of tactical nous about making sure that a basic 4-4-2 or 3-5-2 has right foot players in the right position and left foot players in left. Just yeah. I could just whinge about it all day, but it just seems like tactics have definitely been the biggest drawback since Warnock's left.
Okay.
I get why they tried doing it with Warnock and why they followed that route, but at the moment, it's not working. And to have 2 back-to-back home games after an international break and then a local derby on your doorstep 15 miles away, your preparation couldn't have been any better. Obviously Leeds have had to go down to Norwich and Stoke, haven't they? And and ultimately, as a fan of the opposite team, you're like, oh, we've had a Stoke away game, we've had a Norwich away day. Hopefully, we won't win. And now you sat there thinking, Christ, you're going to get battered.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm bothered about on Saturday now.
All right, let's bring in Ben and let's have a look at the Yorkshire derby. Thanks for that second, Mark. Okay, let's look ahead to this one and a bit taste of this one. First of all, obviously, as a non-Huddersfield fan, Mark, talk to us about this match. What does it mean for Huddersfield fans? Is it the first one you look for when the fixtures come out?
Yeah, pretty much, because we don't have anyone else local apart from Sheffield Wednesday this season. It's always tasty. I went to school in Leeds and been a Town fan growing up in Leeds and stuff like that. The amount of nonsense I got as a kid. Basically, Town were rubbish back then, and Leeds were doing all right. So there's friendly rivalry, friendly banter, and all that kind of stuff. That's where it's got to start and stop. Take mick out of each other all week. Say it on pitch. Sunday, just have a laugh, and that's it. That's where it's got to start and stop. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, to be
honest. Ben, happy memories of playing Huddersfield?
Ish. Last few seasons that we've actually come up against each other haven't always been a happy stomping ground, but I can't see any different this weekend. It's they're in turmoil, aren't they? Sorry to say. Shipping 4 against Cardiff. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Team news, Ben. Did you keep the same team and go back to the Norwich team?
We need to switch it. I mean, Anthony was terrible. But he's a great player on his day, but he just wasn't in the game at the weekend. And I thought Nonto, you can tell he's been injured for God knows how long, because he was shocking as well. Get Somerville back, get James back, and I'll probably take Gray away from right back as well. As good as he is, he's only 17-year-old kid. He needs a rest. Put an actual right back in there. He's not a right back anyway. Get Ayling back in. Just go for the juggernaut. Let's embarrass him.
Okay. Mark, what team are you picking? Team changes?
Oh, well, you just don't know what Darren Moore's going to do. That's the problem. He's not settled on a settled 11 since he's taken over. I think Town's first team, if you want to call it, like first 11 players, might do something for 70 minutes, but it's all about the bench. All about the bench. We haven't got that strength what Leeds are going to have off the bench. You know, even if you put Archie Gray on the bench or if you leave Somerville on bench and stuff like that. I've seen Somerville this season play for Leeds, and he is a quality player.
Unbelievable, isn't he?
Yeah, it really is. And it's kind of, it might sound weird, but what's going to help Town this on Saturday, if they can frustrate Leeds, is Leeds' fans. Because Leeds will be going into that game on Saturday thinking we should be rolling Town over, and ultimately they should do, because we're just not good enough. For some reason, mentality's just gone out of the team at the moment. But if you can frustrate Leeds United to 70 minutes and don't concede those silly, sloppy goals, what we've been conceding and things like that, and you get a Bamford who misses a sitter or whatever, and those passes aren't working and stuff. Those Leeds fans, we will be sat on Leeds' shoulders going, what the hell's going on? And frustration will be in the stadium. So if you can frustrate the team, you'll frustrate the fans, which will get on the team's back, because that's just what we do, really. But I can't see it lasting to half an hour. I think if Somerville starts and Nonto starts, even if Nonto's not been great, I can see it being one-way traffic. And I think any Town fan in any podcast this week, we were saying after that Cardiff game, I can't see it going any other way. And especially since Leeds have lost away yesterday, the frustration for the players will be like, right, team in bottom four here, go for it. But I have seen Leeds against Sheffield Wednesday this season, and Sheffield Wednesday just frustrated them for 90 minutes, and maybe we could be that other team who just go up in blue and white stripes and frustrate them.
Yeah, beware the wounded animal. Let's get score predictions. Thank you, Mark. Ben, you go first. Leeds against Huddersfield.
I want 4 or 5. No, normally I'm kind of like in between, but now I want 4 or 5 this week.
All right.
No excuses.
On this podcast, people always tend to give the opposition at least one, just out of kindness. But I love how cutthroat you're being. Yeah, 4-5-0. Push. All right, great. All right, Mark. What's the best you can hope for?
Well, after the Cardiff game, I thought, actually, we're going to get a proper beating. And then after seeing how frustrated Leeds got with Stoke last night, I reckon we might get 1, but I think Leeds will come out comfortable winners of like 3 or 4. Yeah.
4.
Like, yeah.
Well, listen, both enjoy.
Which hurts my soul to say. but that's where we are. You've got to be realistic, and I just don't think Town are anywhere near good enough. And I think if Leeds United turn up, who we know can turn up, it's going to be a long day. All I know is I'm just glad it kicks off at 12:30 on Saturday, so I don't have to worry about it for the rest of it at 3:00.
Yeah, you've still got half a Saturday to enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you both. We'll catch up with you next week and see how you're both done. Cheers for now. Enjoy the game, and cheers for joining.
Cheers, boys. Good luck, Ben. Cheers.
Cheers, lads.